Grab your cocktail and get ready for this episode of the Old Fashioned Masonic Podcast. Welcome to the Old Fashioned Masonic Podcast, where we talk all things Freemasons while drinking an old fashioned. I'm Brian, and on the channel with me to the left and right, depending on which way you see it on Zoom, we have Skip Flanagan. Skip, welcome to the podcast.
I appreciate you, Brother Byrd. Pleasure to be here.
All right, Skip. You've seen the podcast before, I know. So as you understand, we like to know as much about the man as we do the Mason. So let's push Masonry to the side.
Okay.
Tell our listeners who's Skip the man.
My name is Skip Flanagan. I'm an ex-athlete. I played basketball for Oregon Tech and also Texas Southern. I went to Oregon Tech and broke three-point field goal record. My dream was to be a professional basketball player. I got real close. But a lot of things happened. Some things happened. So, I ended up coming home and becoming an entrepreneur. I'm the owner of the Green Spot Houston and Grand Tier Custom Homes. So that's what I'm into right now. My dream is to be a filmmaker. And I'm a proud Mason as well.
Nice. So are you a product of Houston? Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Natchez, Louisiana. That's North Louisiana. Beautiful town. Home of the meat pies, home of the lights, city lights, Cane River. It actually was a lady who wrote a book called Cane River. And Oprah went down there and she loved it so much that she bought a house down there.
So other than filmmaking, you dabble in a little, or have dabbled in a little bit of music, right?
Oh yeah, I got 3 albums that's getting ready to get released: Hustle 5, Hustle 6, and Hustle 8. I also had an album, Chocolate City, that had the song H-Sound on it that was on America's Best Dance School. Was getting ready to put it on there, so I had a lot of success with that back in the day. But I actually had stopped doing music because of all the negativity that was associated with it, picking up all the gangster rappers and the drill music. But, I just got back into it like 2 years ago, and I had a song on 97.9 recently. So, it's going good. I started cutting yards and, end up building the Green Spot Houston, which is, a 5-star company in Houston, man. It had 5 trucks running at one time. But it's a process. Yeah, well, I'm glad you found your purpose because some of us are just one mistake away from something just crazy. And, you cut a little bit of paper, but you work through it so you don't have the big old F on your record. Let's push all that to side. So now we know who Skip, just a little bit of Skip the man is. So again, check out the video description for some of his accomplishments. But let's talk about your Masonic journey, and let's start about where you started and kind of where you're at today. So so you started in Clandyland, did you? That's crazy, man. I went like almost 19 years thinking I was a real Mason, man.
Whoa, wait. I didn't know it was that long. No kidding.
Yeah, 05.
Oh God, all right.
And what happened was my dad was a Mason and my grandmother was Eastern Star. And from where I'm from in Louisiana, it's a big thing. I used to see my grandmother, polishing her shoes with the white polish and washing the clothes and wool. And she'd have a uniform on, and then in Natchez, it's a big parade. And they walk down the street and stuff like that. The big parade go from the church to down the street to City Hall and stuff like that. So it was always a big thing. So when I was growing up, I always wanted to be like my dad. He was a Mason too. So, it was always a big thing with me. So when I came to Houston, it was like I knew about it, but I wasn't thinking about it until I got to college.
Right.
And I was trying to play at Sigma, and then one of the guys became a Mason. So I was always like, it was close, but I never really took it serious. So
it was like in the back of your mind because you saw it growing up. Yeah.
All the pieces was right there, but it was like, I hadn't confirmed it yet. So one day I was at a store and the guy was actually recruiting Masons. So I was like, man, okay, here we go. You know what I'm saying?
Like standing out like he's selling Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah, he was standing on the outside the store. You want to come to Mason, man? I say, oh, yeah. So I didn't see him no more, but I had heard that this guy that I knew was a Mason that had a barbershop. So I knew him. So I went up there and he gave my application. I came by and I became a Mason, went through the process, the hazing getting beat to death, so ended up becoming a Mason over there. But, it was a lot of things I saw there, man. It was crazy, bro. It was like, you know, you had guys in there that were selling drugs and guys cheating on their wives. It was crazy. And one day I needed a boost even, and guy said, I can't give you a boost because I got a new truck. So I'm like, wait a minute, man. I thought Masons was supposed to help people. You know what I'm saying? So I had all these red flags. You know what I'm saying? So when me and him got into it, because I was getting ready to go to my 33rd degree, and they charge you for it.
Oh, well, what they charge you for? Do you remember?
It was something like $700, I think.
Okay, I've heard more. So did you have a Groupon or something? How'd you get it for $700?
No, you had to pay the $700, and then you had to go out of town because every year they go out of town. So when you go out of town, they end up giving you the certificate and stuff. So they was acting kind of crazy. I was like, man, if I don't get my 33rd this time, I said I won't be getting it under y'all. You know, and I've always, the way that they do it is supposed to be so prestigious. But my whole thinking was I wanted to be with some honorable brothers. I still don't know the process. So you know, I was like, if I do it, I want it to be a special occasion because that's supposedly the highest level you can go to. So, you know, I was like, man, y'all not going to mess this thing up. Right. So we ended up getting into it. Then I ended up getting into it with him. And the guy that was supposed to be the most puissant or the most powerful, that's what they call him. He was like, well, I'm going to give you your own lodge. I was like, okay, that sounds good too.
Wait, give you your own lodge? Well, I mean, hell, that sounds, I mean, it's just like Oprah, you get a lodge and you get a lodge. And
that's what I'm telling you. That's what I was telling you. I was like, man, it's different over there. So, you know, I had my own lodge and stuff like that. And I had guys I was bringing in, but, you know, it was crazy. It's like as soon as somebody get mad, they can just go start a grand lodge or whatever they want to do. So I still didn't pay no mind. So I went out of town. I had a movie deal in California. So while I was there, I was visiting. I just started Googling lodges that I could go to. I went to Culver City Lodge. Man, beautiful lodge.
So Culver City, for those who don't know, is right outside of LA, kind of south and west of LA.
Right. So I went in there, man, beautiful lodge. I went in there and everybody was nice. It wasn't mean or nothing, man. I went in there, man, they was sitting there talking and eating, man, and I told them where I was from. You know, I'm proud. I'm illustrious Skip Flanagan, 32 degrees.
Yeah.
You know, I say, oh yeah, I can get in. You know what I'm saying? So I went in there and they was like, "Where you from?" I told them where I'm from. They said, "Huh? Is it Prince Hall or what is it?" I say, "No, it's Amon Rezan." I was like, "What is that?"
So what was that? What was the Grand Lodge name?
That's the Supreme Council.
Oh,
Amon Rezan, Supreme Council. I was like, man, they were like, what is that? So I go in there and they say, well, I'm sorry. Let me bring this book out. They got a book
for Amity to find out who's who. Yeah, now it's digital, but yeah.
Still, you know, we hate to, you know, let you know that you're not in this book. So, you know,
but they weren't dicks about it. They were just
I'm telling you, they were so cool because I told them, you know, I was going to do it. So it was like, what you got to do is just tell them stay away from them for a year and we'll go through what's called a healing process with you. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I was like, cool, I can do that. You know, if I was going to move to LA, if I would have got the movie deal. So,
right. Yeah, sure. Well, because you wanted a place that felt like home and you needed some camaraderie. Right. When you're coming from Houston to LA, man, you need friends.
Right. So I'm just, you know, laying my groundwork, you know, for moving. And so when I got back to Houston, the deal didn't go through for other reasons. I'll tell you about that later. But, you know, so I thought about it. I said, I still got to stay away from these guys. So I stayed away for like 4 years. They kept coming. When are you coming back? When are you coming? We want you to lead this. We want you to do this. I'm like, man, I already been told that, you know, y'all not official, but I didn't tell them that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just staying away. So, one day, because I'm always in League City in Clear Lake, you know, the lodge that I used to stay by, you know, I used to always go by there. And, you know, from what they used to tell me, you had to do certain stuff to get in. So I'm like, I can't wait till they there so I can do, you know, what they were saying. You know what I'm saying? So I went by there one day and I finally got in when they was all there. Man, they was eating again. Once again, man, I'm talking about, it was just like the whole room lit up. I walked in. And I just, same thing happened again. Man, everybody's cool. I'm talking about, man, they good food. I'm talking, they had so much good food. It was like, man, I was just eating and having fun, meeting people.
Like, was it Louisiana good food?
Yeah, it was good. I'm not gonna lie.
Because that's some real seafood in League City. That seafood's right there.
Man, they still got, they got a whole bunch of Rockefeller oysters and all these places over there. But man, everybody was cool. I mean, I was going like, so same thing happened. Man, it was like, Skip, you know, I brought everything in it. They was like, what degree you are? 32. Okay, I'm bringing certificates they gave me. They said that ain't worth the paper it's wrote on. I'm like, I'm crushed. I'm crushed. So every week I'm still eating. So one day, a guy named Bo came up, Skip, man, you can't, we're not gonna take none of that. You know, I'm thinking like, okay, they gonna go ahead and do it. I'm 32 degrees, you know, there's no need to redo this stuff. You know what I'm saying? They gonna, you know, eventually let me go ahead and get in. So Bo came up to me, Skip, man, we can't really even talk to you, man, because of what you're affiliated with. But what I'm gonna do, he said, I'm gonna fix the problem. So I said, okay. So he went to the Grand Lodge. He came back. When I tell you, he walked up to me and gave me a big, I told you I was going to do it.
Oh, so he was excited that he was able to deliver.
Yeah, Bo, man, that's my boy. Bo, cool. So everybody was cool. We was all happy, man. I'm talking about everybody. I'm talking about, man, every week. Mr. Jerry, Mr. Randy, all of us, man. We just having fun, man. Just everything. Brother Hines.
And did it feel like home?
Yeah. Good. That's why it hurt so bad. You know what I'm saying? So man, when it came time to vote, I said, okay, we good. I said, everything gonna be good. Man, I went home. I got that call. Brother Mike said he was one. He said, I want to call Skip. He called me. Skip, man, I'm sorry to tell you, man. I said, what? Man,
that hurt your heart, though, didn't it? Those
man,
all jokes aside, that hurt.
He said, Skip, but he said, I just want you to know, man, that they rejected me on the first one for 3 years. He said, you only got to wait a year. He said, they wouldn't let me in for 3 years. I said, okay. I mean, I still wasn't trying to understand it. I wrote a long letter to him, you know, just letting them know, hey, man, that was too much. You know, I don't understand who it is or what happened or what. You know, I was upset. So I left my birth certificate there. So I waited a year and a half instead of a year. I waited a year and a half. So I said, I'm going to try this again. So I was thinking the whole time, I was like, man, should I try over there again or what should I do? So I called Brother Mike and told him I'll be over there. Brother Blair, I told him come and get my birth certificate. He signed on my petition also.
Right.
The secretary, he signed on the certificate. I'm talking about everybody that signed up. I mean, it was.
No, you had players sign. You just didn't have to off the street. Yeah.
Oh, man, it was amazing. And so when I went back that day, it was like I walked in the building and it was like, man, I wanted to say, yeah, I want to go ahead and be a part of that lodge. But then I was like, no, man, I'm still the same Skip. I say, it's nothing that I'm hiding. I'm still Skip Flanagan, man. No matter how you shape this cookie up, man, I'm still the same guy. So I called the other lodge and the guy was on the phone, Mr. Charlie Craig. Skip, it's brotherly love over here. You're more than welcome to come over here. I was like, wait a minute. I had 2 more other lodges. I was like, nah, I think this is the one I need to go to. So I went over there that night and I came over there. He came to those big guys. Come, what's up, Skip? I'm like, what's up? So we go in the room. And then the secretary, Mr. Tom, I call him my Masonic dad and granddad now, you know what I'm saying? So he was cracking jokes and joking and talking. My other brother was over there. And, man, they was just laughing and talking. So I told him, he said, why, what happened? I said, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I don't know. So, you know, me thinking like, hey, man, it's going to be the same thing. So I kept coming. I kept coming to eat every day, same thing, meeting great guys. But Mike, Dustin, and a lot of the other guys that were at League City, they were coming with me. They was like, you know, one of them, both of them Facebook friend me, let me know, you know, hey, man, Skip, we on your side.
This sucks that this happened, but I got you.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? So most of the guys that were over there were supporting me. Right. You know, it was like, just Skip, you just got to get in. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of guys were saying, hey man, won't you go ahead and do Prince Hall? I was like, no, man. I'm the type of guy, I've been in diverse situations all my life. I like the mixture.
You just wanted a little bit more diversity in your Masonic experience.
Most definitely. That's who I am. And I'm
Now
not
the
ashamed to say.
clandestine side, not very diverse.
Oh, not at all. Not at all. When you're on the clandestine side, and it's just like when I was in that speech yesterday, when you on that side, it's the reason why I think that a lot of them stay on that side is because you feel like you're rebelling against something. You're taking on the Prince Hall thing where he was rebellious to the point where he made himself a part of something that he could originally supposed to be. We were supposed to be a part of it, but he ended up making that right, which that's cool now. It's okay to be Prince Hall, but you can't just take on that same thing in today's times where you have institutions that's willing to accept you in them. So they're using that same thing, saying, "Hey, man, we got the right to organize and do this our way and how we want to do it, and we don't have to follow the rules." You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason why a lot of people stay on that side. But
that's the crux of it, though. But isn't it, Skip? Isn't that the crux of it? Because the clandestine guys, they say, well, we'll be over here because we can make our own rules, which also the downside to that is if they have a little rift in their lodge, they can say, oh, screw it. I'll just go start my own thing.
Exactly. So you have all these grand lodges and people saying that they grandmasters and stuff like that. And that's another reason why the diversity was one reason why I wanted to be part of whether it would have been Prince Hall or the Grand Lodge State of Texas. Right. Was the structure of it. I'm a businessman, so I'm busy sometimes. I might not be able to make every meeting. But,
life gets in the way.
So, a lot of things that they do over there is strictly money-based. Hey, man, you need to pay this for this here. But you never see the charity, the visible charity and stuff like that.
So what's the hustle over there? Is the hustle straight money?
Yeah, it's money. So when you go over the other side, when everything is, we just need this money for what? But you never see the charity. You know what I'm saying? So what are we doing? Or why are we calling ourselves Masons if we don't have a system of giving the money away to the people that need it? So that's what the difference was when I looked at both of them. The structure. Just like even when I see your show, I learn a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like with the Masonic trial, when the guy got suspended for being on Facebook. They don't have Masonic trials. Like I say, versus having a Masonic trial where you suspended from Masonry and the benefits of it, you can go just start another lodge. One of the brothers actually gave me your podcast, Chris. Yeah. One of the guys was on my investigative committee. He was like, look at this, because he wanted me to look at I looked at the first episode that you had on clandestine lodges.
Probably back with Ronald Jurac, and then it went over to Daniel Sells, and then
good brother.
Yeah. And then King Clandy came on and got
after him. But it's like, man, it's a whole different world. But I thank God that I can see both sides. Just like in college when I went to Oregon Tech and went to Texas Tech, I get to see both sides so I can relay that information of what's going on both sides so we can fix it. But my whole thing is that Prince Hall is beautiful, as well as Grand Lodge State Texas, or the other side of Mason. Both sides are good, but we still have people that need to understand that, everybody has their choice. Some people like those Prince Hall sides, some people like the Grand, but I'm the type of guy that like diversity. I'm saying? I'm an ex-athlete. And, when I get those stories, just like when I talked to Mr. Charlie, he was telling me about his story, how Pasadena is a part of Houston where the Ku Klux Klan used to be. And his dad was in a lodge over there, and he had some black people were going to the restaurant. They had a rally that day to make sure the blacks couldn't go there. So his dad took them, and all of them went over there, and it was like, he told me he won't be going to that restaurant if they don't let the black people go in there. So same thing like with Mr. Tom, when me and him be talking, and, he was my mentor too, So one day we were sitting there and he was talking. He was like, Skip, he said, I remember when I was in college, you know what I'm saying? I used to have a friend that played football. And I'm just getting I don't know the exact story, but this story they tell me. He was like, I had a black friend. He had a locker on the side of me. He said somebody had killed a black guy in the town that time, He said, And I went up to him. He said, went to practice the next day. He said, my black friend wouldn't speak to me. He said, it went 2 days. He said, hold up, man. He said, wait a minute, man. What's the problem? He said, what's the problem? He said, I didn't do nothing, man. I'm still your friend. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I get on this side. I get a lot of people telling their stories of how they fought against racism and how their parents were not a part of that. So that's the beauty of what I get right now. You know, even when I go to different lodges and stuff like that, those are the beautiful stories that I hear and I can share with them as well. So that's the beauty that I get in Masonry versus, you know, being rebellious, being, you know, using it for other tools other than what it's designed to be used for. And that's to make a good man better. You know, just being on the side of the grand largest state of Texas, just seeing that it's more, so many different, it's more than just black and white. It's Asians, it's all kind of different races of people on this side. So that's the beauty. I have a friend named Mitch, man. He's so funny, man. You know,
but all of these characters in our lives make us who we are. And, you know, you and I talked off camera, and I think you and I agree. Somebody that's age 20 or below, I don't really blame them for the way they think. Because they're a product of their mama and their daddy and all this stuff growing up. So whether you're racist on this side or racist on this side, you believe this, you believe that, I don't judge you until you're a grown man. But when you're in your 30s, you know better. I'm going to judge you because you have got away, hopefully, and you started to make your own decisions. And I think that a lot of people, I'm sure there's lots of members in states across that their family might have been card-carrying Klan members, but that doesn't mean that that's who they are, right? I mean, that's just the reality of it. And, you know, the racism, and we get it a little bit from the clandestine side. All of a sudden, oh, well, shit, when Byrd brings up Clandy, that's him using, that's new N-words. Like, I'll get off of that. That doesn't even faze me, man.
It's just like sometimes I made a comment too about some. It's just like when people say guarding the gate, you know what I'm saying, guarding the West Gate. Sometimes that comes across as racist too. Sometimes, but it just depends on the messenger. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part of it, people are just, you know, trying to protect what Masonry says it is. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly right.
You know,
their interpretation of it.
Yeah, the original intent of Masonry is what everybody should stand on. You know, good men. You know, not a man based on character, but a man based on substance. You know, I mean, not physical. You know, but on substance and character. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. But you know, that's a hard topic for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Nobody is trying to address it. Nobody wants to say anything about it. You know, it's a lot of things that need to be changed. You have to fix problems that are fixable. You can't just let those problems linger, you know, especially when you're moving forward, you know.
Well, you have to address it. And we do this on this channel. And, you know, I hit both sides of the, I mean, hell, I'll hit all three sides, whether it's clandestine, state, Grand Lodge, or Prince Hall. If somebody's doing something silly, Florida, Tennessee, Texas at one time, Alabama, you do something silly, we're going to talk about it. So we're not compliant with that. That is not Masonry, right? And you have to stand, you know, with good values and good moral character. And that's why on the clandestine side, when you know you're doing it wrong, you're out of, you know, you say, well, we're doing the same thing but your core values are off. You were duping people to come in, and that's the problem. So when you left, let me switch to the side here. Okay. When you left clandestine Masonry and came over to the Grand Lodge of Texas, did the old guard call and say, hey, what's up? Why are you jumping ship? Well, I mean, did you catch a little bit of flack, or have you just disappeared into the sunset?
They never said anything really. I saw a couple of guys in AutoZone one time, another AutoZone. He was like, Skip, come meet the Grand Master. I'm like, here we go again with this, you know. And I just don't say nothing to him. You know, I got some friends that. Yeah, I had some friends unfriend me now. I had some friends unfriend me because, you know, I'm adamant about either you're the Grand Largest State of Texas or Prince Hall, you know, and my beliefs may offend other people, even anyone, because, you know, when I look at life, I look at it through a different lens. You know what I'm saying? I look at it through a lens of accountability. I don't look at even life, even yesterday, even at the speech that they were doing, you know, with the outdated pastor ceremony, you know, hey man, I made it through this life. I don't brag about all the money I done made. I don't do that, but and I take accountability for all the mistakes that I made. But even when I was making mistakes, I knew it was me. It wasn't nobody else. You know what I'm saying? So when I look at America, I look at all the stuff I've been able to accomplish through music, through books, through business. And so when somebody says, "Hey man, this world ain't this, or this is racist world," I'll be like, well, I can't do nothing but look at my own lens. I can't do nothing but look at myself. And when I jump in my car and I'm driving a car that's hugging me when I drive, and what I'm saying? So, I can't, that's not my story. When I see all these good people that I've met on the Grand Lodge, when I see Mr. Tom and everybody over there, man, I mean, and I'm still learning stuff from a lot of the old mentors in there, assuming one thing, but you get to confirm a lot of stuff. A lot of people haven't been in diverse situations unless they were bad situations, unless they were.
And that's both. That's for the white folks too.
Yeah, they haven't been there. They haven't seen.
That's right.
A black guy and assume that he was good. He said because he's a rapper. That sends up a red flag.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. And so, and I think with Masonry, legit Masonry, we try to give everyone the benefit of the doubt, and it should be. Right. It's like you're good until you're not. Right. So, and I'm glad that you found that a place that feels like home. It was a rough journey, and and I wonder if you would have got in the first time, if it would have meant as much as maybe it does now.
I thought about that too, and I said to myself, I said, no, it wouldn't have, but actually I could have made history over there. I would have been one of the first black guys ever. But to me, it was more important for me to be somewhere that I was loved and somebody that promoted the same values that I promoted. And I promise you, man, that is like the best law, the best case scenario I could have had.
Nobody wants to be where they're not wanted. I mean, and that's unfortunate that we still have these conversations in 2025, but it's the reality of it. And the other side of it is too, I don't watch a lot of this stuff. I'll get excerpts and transcripts from other podcasts. And, there's a dude out of California that, clandestine dude. And I got to tell you, I would argue what he spews is very racist. He refers to white guys as the whiteys, and it's the craziest thing. You know who you are, Tony Two Names. So, but yeah, he just got on my radar recently. So, that's gonna be cute.
But one thing about it, and that's the crazy thing about it. You got to be in the room with the 90%. You know what I'm saying? With the 90% of people just like you. And one thing about League City, I mean, I've been there a couple of times since, and everybody in there is still cool. That's the crazy part. We go do stuff together. I'm actually going to my brother Kevin's installation. He's going to be the new Grand Master over there.
Oh, that's cool.
The new Worship Master. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So,
Skip, you can't just be handing out Grand Master titles. What the hell are you doing there? Holy hell!
I'm trying to make it a candid thing.
Holy hell!
No, but I mean, man, when I tell you all the brothers, as soon as I see them, man, it's like, man, it's a beautiful thing, man. A couple of brothers stopped going because of me, man, to large meetings and stuff. But
because wait, that you were going to come in or that you're in?
No, because I didn't get in.
Oh, well, good for them.
They was taking a knee like Colin Kaepernick for me, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's like I said, I didn't want to share the story at first because I got so many friends over there, and really now it's actually a beautiful thing over there, man. It's not as bad as it was. You know what I'm saying? It was just you got a few bad guys that
they got an agenda and they think that they're protecting their law or whatever BS reason they've got.
Yeah, so you got to have that problem to come up with a solution, man. And, you got to kill the fruit. The fruit got to die to produce a new tree, man. And so now we're on to a whole new spirit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, the energy from it, as you're telling the story, I'm kind of going through the emotions with you, and I'm thinking, man, if I got cubed up, am I going to go back? I don't know. Man, especially if I know especially if I have a feeling that it's for this.
Right.
It's like, well, shit, I can't change that.
And man, that's still hard. But when I see some of the people that cut for me and they be, kind of still upset about it, that makes it even worse. But we still together. You know what I'm saying? We still together. I still might, join the lodge even. I still might join because I got a lot of friends over there. They invite me to a lot of stuff, and I'm over there half the time. But my lodge is the lodge with the astronauts. I'm in the greatest lodge in Texas, they call it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Nothing is like Clear Lake lodge number 1417 where Bud Aldridge went.
Look at you giving a shout out to them, man. They're gonna have to give us some endorsement deal on this, man.
Jealous, man. Seems like you get jealous, man.
Man, yeah, I'm a little salty. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little salty. So that's great. So before we go, I'm going to throw a new question at you.
Okay.
Here's a question. There's a magic pill.
Right.
If you take this magic pill, you can live at your same age in perfect health for the next 150 years. Do you take it or do you not?
Nah, I don't think I'll take it.
Why?
Because I want to see what's next. I think our journey on this life is for a reason. And that's why you doing what you do and I do what I do, And that's what I talked about when I was at the lodge at Clear Lake. This is a moment in history. And these moments are being recorded every day. That's why every time I went up a degree, I wanted everybody's name that was on that was there present when I went up every degree, because sometimes when you're in a moment, a racist moment or a moment in history, just like back when they wrote the Constitution, on the Constitution, they said that all men are created equal. They didn't have to say that. You understand what I'm saying? They could have just said all white men were
especially
superior.
During that time.
Yeah, exactly. So when you have men in a room and they're projecting the future and they know what the future is going to look like, they have to write something that's going to reflect the future. So they said all men are created equal, even though you probably had pushback in that room. No, man, we don't. No,
well, and several of them probably owned slaves.
Exactly. So
right.
You sitting up there in the room but you got some people in the room that were in the spirit of God and saying, no, we are demanded to do the right thing at the right time. And so you don't get to go back. It's just like gambling. I like gambling like you like gambling. You didn't know I knew that though. but yes.
See how I lit up there? That's my thing.
So when you're gambling, if you don't bet max bet, you don't get the jackpot. So
scared money don't make money.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if you bet 40 cents and the jackpot comes, you don't get the jackpot. So same thing in life. You can't go back and say, oh no, I would have did it this way. But those men that are in the spirit at that time end up getting that reward. So now those people are part of your history as you move along. So I don't need to go back and redo that history. I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to do right now, going places, doing things, saying speeches, writing books. I'm writing a book called About My Masonic Journey. You know what I'm saying? Putting all the lectures in there and stuff like that. So my work is not done, but I can get that work done within these next few years. So after those few years are done, I won't need to go back and do the same thing because I'm doing.
You're controlling your own destiny.
Exactly.
You know what? Everybody can let somebody else drive for me because they, nah, I'll drive.
Right. So
man,
I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And this is a part of my history right now. Because see, all while I was in the comment section, hoping that I'd get my chance to be on here, I wasn't even a Mason yet. And I'm like, man, I can't wait.
Oh, so listen. So for those, we've been talking for a while when he left Clandestine and came over. Right. And so we've been watching it. And again, people think, oh man, Byrd's just talking trash. He ain't talking to anybody that switched over. Oh, really?
Right.
We talked to a lot of folks. So
so I'm getting the lessons as I go. I'm like, man, one of them days I'm gonna be on there telling my stories. So
well, I'd love to have, I can't wait till you tell the story when you get to set in the East as the master of your lodge. I can't wait. Just that whole story.
You read my mind, man. See,
we're putting it out in the universe, man.
See, the thing is, there's so much history to be made still. That's the crazy thing about this. That's why I'm loving it, man. I'm loving every day of this, man. But I'm taking it one step at a time, man. But I got some great people around me, man. And we're getting ready to build a new lodge. Make sure y'all support us. We're selling bricks to the lodge. You can actually have your brick on side of the new lodge that we're building down there. Very prestigious moment, man. Very historical moment even, So, it's a fundraiser that we're doing, man. But, just to be a part of those brothers, man, and just all the brothers in Texas, really, because every lodge I go to, man, when I tell you they receive me so well, man, we be having fun in there, man. I actually went to a function about a couple of Sundays ago, and it's crazy that, they asked me to, be the prop that, I was the youngest Mason in there. So, I was like, man, ain't no problem with me.
Well, and you're charismatic. You're used to speaking in front of people. I mean, this is all of these things that really you and me, we are the face of Masonry.
Right.
We're the face of Masonry. Everyone thinks it's X. You know what it is? You look in the mirror and you got a legit dues card. You're the face of Masonry.
Right.
You're the face of Masonry, and that's what's awesome.
I love it, man. It's so much to learn. And it's just like I thought I knew a lot of stuff. But when I went to that meeting that week, they showed me why certain things are done a certain way. You know what I'm saying? And I used to think, well, now it just be done like this, the clandid way, but, it's just so much more to that other side, man. It's so beautiful, man. And then you see, like right now they got the Ashland program. That was a program that I was actually first time doing it. You know what I'm saying? And when I came in, every week it was somebody coming from the Grand Lodge, giving me something, welcoming me in, making me feel comfortable, man. It was like, man, it was special, man. I got all kind of little toys and stuff that they done gave me, man. And that's stuff that wasn't happening on the other side. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm just proud, man. I'm excited. Can't wait to go to my first Grand Lodge session, man.
That's it. That's January of 2026. You'll see me there.
Yes, sir. I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'll be there. So
I love it.
Fun.
I love it. Well, Skip, thanks for joining the Old Fashioned Masonic podcast. I love these stories, and I can't wait to do another episode with you.
Oh, man, me too, man.
Cheers.
I'll be in touch, man. Appreciate you, man.